What are the momentary implications that you've seen from coronavirus? What's an example of a business?
Well, an example, for example, we have maybe 1,000 Dairy Queen franchises in China here, and they're just treat only, so they're the older type, not with food. But a great number of them were closed, but the ones that were open weren't doing any business to speak of. And Apple is, I mean, our much bigger holding is Apple. We own 5.6% of Apple, and the company came out and said that it's affecting not only its stores, but all kinds of things, supply chain. And I find that certain of our companies have got supply chain arrangements that are being affected by this that I didn't even know had those.
Like what?
Well, I got one from Johns Manville the other day, for example. You wouldn't normally think of them as having a big supply chain, but Shaw Carpets or you name it. I'll guarantee you that a very significant percentage of our business is one layer affected by it. But they're being affected by a lot of other things too. And the real question is where are those businesses going to be in 5 or 10 years? Sure. They'll have ups and downs. Our candy business is a wonderful business, but it loses money 7 months out of the year. But the nice thing is Christmas comes every year.
When you look at the economy and how things were kind of chugging along, let's say beginning of this year,
yeah,
when things first picked up, how would you gauge the U.S. economy at that point?
Well, it's strong, but a little softer than it was 6 months ago. But that's over a broad range of business. You look at car loadings, rail car loadings, that's moving goods around. And there again, that was affected by the tariffs too, because people front-ended purchases, all kinds of things, always a lot of variables. But business is down, but it's down from a very good level. So I would say that looking at our 70 businesses, and that actually, they represent hundreds in addition, they're a little softer. On the other hand, I was out with the fellows from the Nebraska Furniture Mart just Saturday night, and their business was up quite a bit in February, but that's because weather was good. So you have a lot of variables that hit.
Why do you think business was down, let's say, the last 6 months? Is that a decline in confidence, or is it coming off of levels where there was unusual activity ahead of that?
Well, it isn't really down. It's just it leveled off and a little softer maybe now. But, well, tariffs, the tariff situation was a big question mark for all kinds of companies, and still is to some degree. But that was front and center for a while. Now coronavirus is front and center. Something else will be front and center 6 months from now, and a year from now, and 2 years from now. The real question is where are these businesses going to be 5 and 10 and 20 years from now? Some of them will do sensationally, some of them will disappear, and overall, I think America will do very well. It has since 1776.
But you still watch things like rail car loadings very closely.
I watch everything, but I don't do it to make specific investment decisions. But I enjoy. I mean, I want to know what's going on, but I also don't think that I can make money by predicting what's going to go on next week or next month. I do think I can make money by predicting what's going to happen in 10 years.
All right, well, tell us more about what's going on, just since you like knowing about those things.
Well, as I say, certain businesses depend on weather to quite an extent in retail, for example, in given months. But the big trends you see are going on. I mean, in terms of the movement to online commerce, and I mean, the big stuff keeps moving. But we've got a big investment in the airline business, and I just heard, even more flights are canceled and all that. But flights are canceled for weather. It so happens in this case they're going to be canceled for longer because of coronavirus. But if you own airlines for 10 or 20 years, you're going to have some ups and downs in current business, and some of them will be weather related, and they can be all kinds of things. The real question is how many passengers are they going to be carrying 10 years from now and 15 years from now, and what will margins be, and what will the competitive position be? But I still look at the figures all the time. I'll admit that.